And welcome back. Efforts to ban books in the U.S. are on track to break a record.
A new
and Florida is
report
among
from
the
the
states
free
that
speech
top
organization
the list.
PEN
CBS
America
anchor Naja
shows
Sherman is in the news
Florida
with more
now
on this.
leads the country in book bans.
One of her books has now been banned. References the racism he faced in the U.S.
In Florida, stories are disappearing, not because students stop reading, but because someone decided they shouldn't. For the third year, the state leads the nation in book bans, leaving classrooms and libraries stripped of diverse perspectives. A South Florida English teacher, Melissa Romero, navigates Florida's book restrictions, finding ways to spark curiosity while also following new policies.
I think when we take books off of shelves, we're telling students like these stories are not worth hearing about. These stories are not important. And it's hard because sometimes these students are familiar with these books. They've seen movie adaptations of it, or they've heard about these books from their parents, from their older friends, and they're saying, what about that story was so wrong that now I can't read it as well? I think it, to a point, starts building even more curiosity.
High school senior Una Chandler is one of those students who questions the rationale behind book removals.
I think the first moment that I realized that book banning was really real was when my brother called me from the Naval Academy and told us that the book Diary of Anne Frank was being taken out of the libraries, and I thought that was crazy because I understand why they say they're banning the books. It's because it's inappropriate or whatever, but they're in the Navy, right? They're big Navy men, so you figured they could deal with a little bit of whatever inappropriate topic they're talking about in Anne Frank, and I feel like that's not a really valid excuse, and I just thought it was kind of ridiculous because, especially in somewhere it's a U.S. government base, it's the naval base, the fact that they're limiting media and things like that there in the government is really crazy to me.
For students like Una and teachers like Melissa, Florida book bans are a daily struggle to keep diverse stories alive. But as these books disappear, many are left asking a simple question: who decides what gets removed and how? To make sense of the conflict, FIU law professor Hannibal Travis offers insight to how restrictions move through the system and the differences between them, from state laws to local challenges to federal courts.
Right, generally there are no federal book bans. There was an attempt to limit websites that contain books that would have material on them that was indecent as to minors. That was struck down by the Supreme Court. They tried to apply it using the phrase harmful to minors, and that was found also to have constitutional defects. So now in the 20 years since then, approximately, there's been more activity at the state legislature trying to withdraw, number one, books from school classrooms and school libraries, and number two, restrict books or social media available in the general marketplace to minors. State laws are a combination of statutes passed by state legislatures, executive orders passed by state governors, and common law announced or developed by state courts. In theory, a parent could allege that a book or other material provided to their child is a lewd or lascivious act. This might cause the school either to settle the case, to withdraw the offending material, to pay damages, or take other conduct to resolve the case. So understanding which official has which powers over your life and the life of your family and children can be important in making your voice heard.
It took me a long time to feel like I could claim my voice and say that my voice matters, and I tell them, now you tell me your voice matters because I'm telling you your voices do, your stories matter.
Pablo Cartaya is a children's author who writes the stories he didn't see growing up and sees how the bans impact his community of authors.
It's as old as history, right? Trying to control who gets to see what, read what, hear what. And what I find in this environment, number one, for my colleagues who are run out of town I've had colleagues who literally walk into a school and there's a big, oh my gosh, oh no, they were supposed to speak, and then they're like, no, we can't, and then they have to leave. And then the kids are left kind of just wondering inside a gym or wherever they are, library, just, what just happened. Like, they don't know. And so that control, I don't think it does anybody any good at all.
Pablo's fight echoes statewide. Last year, more than 700 books were removed from public school libraries across Florida, and 33 districts reported removals. In South Florida, advocacy groups and organizations are stepping in to support those voices silenced. William Johnson, director of PEN America's Florida office, is one of those people.
PEN America is an organization that's dedicated to free expression and literary engagement. Literary engagement because we believe in the power of literature to connect and challenge us and help us grow. And we understand if those connections are hampered by censorship, folks can't be challenged, folks can't grow, and folks can't learn. From my understanding, the human cost of censorship is that the state and some very vocal censorious groups are letting you know what stories are valued. If you look at the data, because data always tells a story, we're learning that it's authors of color, it is LGBTQ stories, it is stories about sexual assault. So you're seeing stories that have usually been on the margins being taken off of the shelves.
PEN America's analysis shows that 1 in 3 banned books feature characters or people of color. Similarly, 1 in 3 banned books also include LGBTQ+ characters or themes, including many about transgender or gender non-conforming students. While censorship limits which stories reach students, companies like Books and Books are working to push back. Since opening in 1982, Mitchell Kaplan has helped build Miami's literary scene, and today he uses the store to educate the community about banned books.
Right now, the best thing that all of us can do who believe in the freedom to read, who believe in the sanctity of the First Amendment, all of us need to speak up. All of us need to gather, and all of us need to come together and raise our voices. That is the best thing that an independent bookstore does. Bookstores are able to convene people. They bring people together.
Recently, Antonia Ryan and Ruben Miatas helped bring Mitchell's mission to life through an art installation called Banned Pending Investigation. The installation showed just how many titles students can no longer access. And as the wall came down, it became a visual reminder of how quickly stories can disappear.
You know, we're not a political bookstore, we're really just a community-wide bookstore. But when it comes to the First Amendment, that is the heart and soul and part of our DNA. So there's no way that we can bend the knee to those who are trying to limit what people can read.
But the fight doesn't stop at the bookstore doors. What happens next comes from the people living with the impact, the ones who work behind the scenes to keep these stories alive.
Not every student has the opportunity to travel and to see the world how it is with their own eyes. So books offer the opportunity to travel to those places. And if you take those books away, if you ban those books, you're closing their eyes to other ways of thinking. And I think that's important, to see how others see a situation, to see how others think about a situation, to see others' feelings. I think I learn the most when I read a book about someone who has a completely different personality from mine or comes from a completely different way of life, because I'm seeing life through their lens. So we're taking that away from kids when we tell them this perspective doesn't matter.
So I am very hopeful for the future because I think students do have the insight from reading banned books to question what's wrong and realize what's wrong, like when we're trying to be limited. And I hope everyone does have access to books because I think I've gained a lot of insight from reading banned books.
People have tried to burn books before. You know, it's not the first time. And, you know, I don't think it will be the last time. Once this is over, I don't think something else will come through. But we fight, we push, and so you see authors like continuing that fight.